My beloved child, I am the one who stretched the heavens like a vast tapestry, who set the earth spinning in its orbit, who breathed life into the dust and called it good. And I come to you now with a truth that pulses at the heart of all I am and all you are. I chose you for a reason. These words are not a fleeting thought, not a whisper lost in the wind, but a decree forged in the fire of my eternal love, a promise that I have spoken over you since before the stars found their place. I see you right where you stand in the quiet of your mornings, in the chaos of your days, in the shadows of your nights, and I say to you, I chose you, not by accident, not by whim, but with a purpose so deep, so rich, so woven into the fabric of your soul that it defies the limits of your understanding. I am the God who looked upon a stuttering shepherd and saw a deliverer, who gazed at a barren woman and saw a mother of nations, who peered into a fisherman's rough hands and saw a builder of my kingdom. I chose them, and I chose you, my precious one, for a reason that I alone fully see, but one you can trust with every fiber of your being. I know the moments when you feel small, when the mirror reflects a face you doubt, when the world's voices shout that you're not enough. But hear me now. I chose you for a reason. I am not swayed by the measures of men, not bound by the scales of earth, not blinded by the flaws you see. I look at the heart. I see the spirit. I know the potential I planted within you. I chose a boy with a sling to topple a giant, a widow with a handful of meal to feed a prophet, a man in a pit to save a people. My eyes saw what they could not, and my eyes see you. I chose you, not for what you were, not for what you've done, but for what I know you can become. So lift your head, my child, for I have set my gaze upon you, and that gaze is steady, sure, unending. I know the weight you carry, the questions that tug at your peace, the days when you wonder why you're here, what you're for if you're seen. But I chose you for a reason, and that reason is not a burden. It is a gift. I am the one who led a people through a wilderness with a cloud by day and fire by night, who stood with a woman at a well and offered her living water, who walked with the sun to a hill of redemption. I chose them for moments they could not foresee, for purposes they could not grasp. And I chose you for this moment, this place, this breath. I see the tears you've shed, the dreams you've tucked away, the fears that whisper you've been overlooked. But I have not overlooked you. I chose you for a reason, and my choosing is not a mistake. I am the God who does not falter, who does not waver, who does not abandon what is mine. So when the night presses in, when the doubts rise, when the path blurs, know this: I chose you, and I am with you. I see the battles you fight, the weariness that seeps into your spirit, the struggles that test your resolve, the voices that taunt your worth. And I am here, not as a distant king, but as your father, your creator, your strength. I chose you for a reason, and that reason shines in the midst of the storm. I have watched a man build an ark while the earth stayed dry, a woman birth a promise when her womb was closed, a disciple leave his nets for a call he couldn't fathom. My choosing carried them through, and it carries you. I know the moments when you feel you've failed, when the effort falls short, when the hope flickers. But I chose you for a reason, and failure is not the end of my plan. I am the one who turned a betrayer into a leader, a denier into a rock, a persecutor into a preacher. My eyes saw beyond their stumbles, and they see beyond yours. So when you fall, when you falter, when you fear you've lost my favor, rise again. I chose you, and my choice stands. I see the world's chaos, the injustice that stings, the sorrow that scars, the noise that drowns, and I chose you for a reason within it. I am the God who sent a prophet to a rebellious city, who called a servant to a fiery furnace, who bore a cross for a broken world. I chose them to shine in the dark, to stand in the heat, to love in the pain. And I chose you to do the same. Your light, your voice, your heart, they matter, not because they're perfect, but because they're mine. I know the days when you feel unseen, unheard, unneeded. But I chose you for a reason, and I see you. I am the one who watched a widow give her last coins, who heard a thief's cry from a cross, who needed a mother's yes to bring my son. Your small is mighty in my hands. Your whisper is thunder in my ears. Your need is my delight. So when the crowd overlooks, when the silence deafens, when the worth wanes, trust me. I chose you, and my eyes are on you. I see the questions that haunt. Why me? Why now? Why this? And I say to you, I chose you for a reason. I am the God who turned a desert into a proving ground, a prison into a palace, a grave into a victory. My choosing is not random. It is woven with intent, threaded with grace, sealed with promise. I chose a man to wrestle through the night and gave him a new name. I chose a woman to anoint my feet with tears and gave her peace. I chose a son to bear your sin and gave him glory. My reason for you is unfolding, growing, glowing. So when you cannot trace my hand, when you cannot see my plan, when you cannot feel my nearness, know this: I chose you for a reason. I am here in the mystery, in the making, in the moment. I see the hands you've raised, the prayers you've breathed, the faith you've clung to, the love you've poured, and I chose you for a reason within them. I am the one who answered a cry with a ram, who met a plea with a spirit, who turned a prayer into a people. Your faith is my field. Your love is my harvest. Your hands are my tools. So when the answer tarries, when the seed lies still, when the fruit seems far, keep going. I chose you, and I work through you. I know the weariness that tempts, the exhaustion that bids you stop, the despair that begs you rest. But I chose you for a reason, and I am your strength. I have lifted a people from bondage, carried a prophet through famine, sustained a son through thorns. My choosing is your power, your purpose, your peace. So when your spirit sags, when your legs tremble, when your will bends, lean into me. I chose you, and I hold you. I see the moments you doubt, when the mirror lies, when the past accuses, when the future looms, and I chose you for a reason beyond them. I am the God who saw a tax collector's greed and made him a witness, who saw a harlot's shame and made her a herald, who saw a doubter's questions and made him a disciple. My love sees your all, and my choice claims your more. So when the voices mock, when the guilt bites, when the fear grips, stand tall. I chose you, and my grace is yours. I know the loneliness that aches, the quiet that deafens, the longing that pulls, and I chose you for a reason within it. I am the one who walked with a man in a garden, who spoke to a woman in a cave, who ate with the outcast. My choosing is your company, your comfort, your call. So when you feel alone, when the crowd fades, when the night stretches, know this: I chose you. I am with you. I see the world through your eyes, the beauty that lifts, the pain that presses, the hope that holds. And I chose you for a reason to reflect me. I have marveled with a man at the stars, mourned with a woman at a tomb, hoped with a people for a dawn. Your beauty is my mirror. Your pain is my care. Your hope is my heart. So when the wonder dims, when the hurt deepens, when the trust wavers, rest in me. I chose you, and I shine through you. I know the steps you've taken, the steady and the stumbling. I chose you for a reason in every one. I have watched a shepherd lead through sand, a mother birth through pain, a son die through love. Your walk is my way, your fight is my field, your life is my light. So when the day tires, when the night encroaches, when the race drags, keep going. I chose you, and I carry you. I see the finish, the joy ahead, the rest prepared, the home eternal, and I chose you for a reason to reach it. I have loved a prodigal to a feast, a thief to a paradise, a world to a savior. Your now is mine, your next is mine, your forever is mine. So take my hand, my child. I chose you for a reason. Your every breath is purposed, your every step is seen, your every moment is held. I am your God, your Father, your forever. Trust me. I chose you, now and always, my precious child. I am the one who spoke light into the void, who carved rivers through stone, who wove you together with threads of grace and glory. And I come to you now with a truth that builds upon the promise I've already planted in your heart. I chose you for a reason, And that reason is not a static gift to hold, but a living call to walk, a purpose that unfolds with every step you take in trust. I see you right where you are, in the dawn of your efforts, in the dusk of your wrestlings, in the spaces where you wonder what comes next. And I say to you, I chose you not just to be, but to become. Not just to stand, but to move. Not just to exist, but to live fully in the strength and story I've placed within you. I am the God who called a man to leave his land with only a whisper of promise, who summoned a woman to lead an army with a song, who picked a fisherman to cast nets for souls. I chose them for a journey they couldn't map, for a work they couldn't finish alone, and I chose you for a reason that stretches beyond this moment into the vastness of my will. So take heart, my child, for I have equipped you. I have empowered you, and I walk with you every mile. I know the days when the road feels steep, when the load presses heavy, when the horizon seems too far to reach. But I chose you for a reason, and that reason comes with my provision. I am the one who gave a shepherd a staff that parted seas, who filled a widow's jars with oil that never ran dry, who handed a boy 5 loaves to feed a multitude. I didn't choose them for their might, their wealth, or their wisdom. I chose them for their willingness, and I filled their hands with what they needed. So, when you feel empty, when you doubt your tools, when you fear you lack, look to me. I chose you, and I supply you. I see the battles you face, the weariness that gnaws at your bones, the obstacles that tower like giants, the voices that hiss, "You're too weak." But I chose you for a reason, and that reason is not defeated by the fight. I have stood with a man against a lion's den, walked with 3 through a furnace's blaze, carried a son through a garden's anguish. My choosing armed them with courage, cloaked them with peace, crowned them with victory, and it does the same for you. So when the enemy prowls, when the flames lick close, when the night weighs dark, stand firm. I chose you, and I fight for you. I know the moments when you stumble, when the step falters, when the heart quakes with what ifs. But I chose you for a reason, and that reason thrives beyond the fall. I am the one who lifted a man from a pit to a throne, who turned a woman's barrenness into a legacy, who raised a dead girl with a word. My choosing doesn't flinch at your missteps. It meets them with mercy. It molds them with grace. It moves them toward glory. So when you trip, when you stray, when you think you've lost your way, rise again. I chose you, and I restore you. I see the world's tumult, the storms that rage, the thorns that prick, the chaos that claws, and I chose you for a reason within it. I am the God who sent a prophet to speak truth to a storm-tossed king, who called a servant to rebuild a broken wall, who bore a cross to heal a shattered earth. I chose them to mend, to stand, to shine, and I chose you to do the same. Your voice can calm, your hands can build, your light can pierce, not because you're flawless, but because you're mine. I know the days when you feel unprepared, unready, unworthy. But I chose you for a reason, and I prepare you. I am the one who trained a shepherd with sheep before a nation, who steadied a girl's heart before a manger, who filled a disciple's mouth before a crowd. Your now is my training ground. Your weakness is my workshop. Your trust is my tool. So when the call feels big, when the task looms vast, when the strength seems small, lean into me. I chose you, and I ready you. I see the questions that swirl. Why this path? Why this pain? Why this purpose? And I say to you, I chose you for a reason. I am the God who turned a wilderness into a forge, a betrayal into a rescue, a tomb into a triumph. My choosing is not a riddle to solve, but a road to walk, not a weight to bear, but a wind to lift, not a mystery to fear, but a mission to embrace. So when the why eludes, when the how escapes, when the where bewilders, trust me, I chose you and I guide you. I know the weariness that tempts, the exhaustion that bids you pause, the despair that begs you quit. But I chose you for a reason, and I am your strength. I have carried a people through a parted sea, sustained a man with bread from ravens, upheld a son through a crown of thorns. My choosing is your endurance, your energy, your edge. So when your spirit droops, when your body bends, when your will wanes, draw from me. I chose you, and I sustain you. I see the moments you doubt, when the mirror mocks, when the past haunts, when the future fogs, and I chose you for a reason beyond them. I am the God who saw a tax collector's ledger and made it a gospel, who saw a woman's shame and made it a testimony, who saw a doubter's fear and made it a faith. My love sees your depths. My choice claims your heights. My plan holds your all. So when the lies sting, when the guilt binds, when the haze blinds, stand tall. I chose you, and I redeem you. I know the loneliness that aches, the silence that deafens, the longing that pulls, and I chose you for a reason within it. I am the one who sat with a man by a brook, who met a woman at a gate, who broke bread with the forsaken. My choosing is your companion, your comfort, your call. So when you feel alone, when the voices fade, when the dark stretches, know this: I chose you, I am near. I see the hands you've lifted, the work you've done, the prayers you've sighed, the love you've sown, and I chose you for a reason within them. I am the one who blessed a widow's mites, who heard a thief's plea, who multiplied a boy's fish. Your effort is my seed, your cry is my song, your love is my harvest. So when the fruit seems slow, when the echo seems faint, when the field seems dry, keep sowing. I chose you, and I grow through you. I know the world through your soul, the beauty that stirs, the pain that shapes, the hope that holds. and I chose you for a reason to reflect me. I have danced with a man at creation's dawn, wept with a woman at a city's fall, waited with a people for a promise. Your joy is my delight. Your hurt is my care. Your hope is my heart. So when the light dims, when the tears fall, when the faith bends, rest in me. I chose you, and I shine in you. I see the steps you've dared, the firm and the frail. I chose you for a reason in every one. I have led a shepherd through a valley, a mother through a birth, a son through a grave. Your path is my purpose. Your fight is my fire. Your life is my love. So when the day drains, when the night looms, when the race stretches, keep walking. I chose you, and I uphold you. I know the finish, the joy ahead, the peace prepared, the home eternal. And I chose you for a reason to reach it. I have guided a prodigal to a feast, a thief to a garden, a world to a savior. Your today is mine, your tomorrow is mine, your forever is mine. So take my hand, my child. I chose you for a reason. Your every breath is powered. Your every step is purposed. Your every moment is mine. I am your God, your strength, your song. Walk with me. I chose you, now and ever, my cherished child. I am the one who painted the dawn with hues of hope, who set the seas in their restless dance, who breathed my spirit into you and called you mine. And I come to you now with a truth that rises from the foundation of my love. I chose you for a reason, and that reason is not just a purpose to fulfill or a strength to wield, but a transformation to embrace, an identity to claim, a life to live that ripples through the ages. I see you, right where you are, in the stillness of your searching, in the fire of your trials, in the glow of your victories, and I say to you, I chose you to be more than you imagine, to rise beyond what you see, to reflect my heart in a world that aches for it. I am the God who looked upon a man tending flocks and named him a father of faith, who gazed at a woman in disgrace and named her forgiven, who peered into a fisherman's doubt and named him a rock. I chose them to become, and I chose you, my beloved, for a reason that reshapes who you are into who I've always known you can be. So stand in awe, my child, for I have called you by name. I have shaped you with intent, and I am making you new. I know the days when you feel lost, when the pieces of your life scatter like leaves in the wind, when you wonder who you're meant to be. But I chose you for a reason, and that reason anchors your soul. I am the one who took a shepherd's staff and made it a symbol of deliverance, who took a widow's crumbs and made them a feast, who took a cross and made it a crown. My choosing transforms the ordinary into the eternal, the broken into the beautiful, the frail into the fierce. So when you feel adrift, when you question your place, when you doubt your name, hear me. I chose you, and I define you. I see the battles you wage, the storms that batter your spirit, the wounds that mark your heart, the shadows that threaten your light. And I chose you for a reason that shines through the fight. I have stood with a man against a flood's fury, walked with a woman through a valley's depth, carried a son through a whip's lash. My choosing forged them in fire, tempered them in trial, lifted them in triumph, and it does the same for you. So when the tempest roars, when the scars ache, when the dark presses, hold fast. I chose you, and I refine you. I know the moments when you falter, when the mirror shows a stranger, when the past claws at your peace. But I chose you for a reason, and that reason rewrites your story. I am the one who turned a man's exile into a vision, a woman's shame into a song, a disciple's denial into a declaration. My choosing doesn't erase your yesterdays. It redeems them. It renews them. It reclaims them for glory. So when you stumble over old stones, when you shrink from old chains, when you hide from old echoes, step forward. I chose you, and I renew you. I see the world's need, the hunger that gnaws, the hurt that festers, the hope that fades, and I chose you for a reason to touch it. I am the God who sent a prophet to feed a widow's child, who called a servant to bind a city's wounds, who bore a body to heal a world's soul. I chose them to give, to mend, to love, and I chose you to do the same. Your hands can lift, your words can soothe, your life can lead, not because you're whole, but because you're mine. I know the days when you feel small, insignificant, invisible, but I chose you for a reason, and I magnify you. I am the one who took a boy's sling and slew a giant, who took a woman's jar and poured abundance, who took a fisherman's boat and launched a movement. Your little is limitless in my hands. Your whisper is a wave in my ears. Your spark is a flame in my care. So when the need overwhelms, when the call intimidates, when the step hesitates, trust me. I chose you, and I multiply you. I see the questions that linger. Why this burden? Why this battle? Why this beauty? And I say to you, I chose you for a reason. I am the God who turned a desert into a cradle, a prison into a pulpit, a grave into a garden. My choosing is not a punishment to endure, but a privilege to embody, not a chain to drag, but a charge to carry, not a puzzle to solve, but a power to share. So when the why stings, when the how daunts, when the what bewilders, lean into me. I chose you, and I empower you. I know the weariness that creeps, the exhaustion that saps, the despair that sinks, the weight that bends. But I chose you for a reason, and I am your rest. I have carried a people through a sea's roar, sustained a man with a brook's bread, upheld a sun through a night's sweat. My choosing is your refuge, your renewal, your resilience. So when your spirit flags, when your body bows, when your hope flickers, draw near. I chose you, and I refresh you. I see the moments you doubt, when the face you see seems weak, when the voice you hear seems faint, when the path you tread seems vague, and I chose you for a reason beyond them. I am the God who saw a tax collector's greed and shaped a scribe, who saw a harlot's tears and shaped a teller, who saw a doubter's hands and shaped a healer. My love sees your core, my choice claims your call, my will holds your worth. So when the lies hiss, when the shame binds, when the fog blinds, rise up. I chose you, and I redeem you. I know the loneliness that grips, the quiet that cloaks, the longing that aches, and I chose you for a reason within it. I am the one who sat with a man by a river, who met a woman at a dawn, who broke bread with the lonely. My choosing is your comfort, your companion, your courage. So when you feel apart, when the silence roars, when the dark deepens, know this: I chose you. I am here. I see the hands you've stretched, the work you've wrought, the prayers you've poured, the love you've lived, and I chose you for a reason within them. I am the one who blessed a widow's giving, who heard a thief's gasp, who multiplied a boy's trust. Your labor is my legacy, your cry is my chorus, your love is my light. So when the fruit seems sparse, when the echo seems soft, when the harvest seems slow, keep giving. I chose you and I work in you. I know the world through your breath, the joy that lifts, the pain that molds, the faith that fights, and I chose you for a reason to mirror me. I have laughed with a man at a promise's birth, wept with a woman at a promise's death, stood with a people at a promise's dawn. Your joy is my song, your pain is my purpose, your faith is my fire. So when the gladness wanes, when the grief swells, when the belief bends, rest in me. I chose you, and I shine through you. I see the steps you've braved, the sure and the shaken. I chose you for a reason in every one. I have guided a shepherd through a storm, a mother through a night, a son through a scourge. Your walk is my witness. Your struggle is my strength. Your life is my love. So when the day dims, when the night nears, when the race lengthens, keep running. I chose you and I lift you. I know the finish, the peace ahead, the joy prepared, the home eternal. And I chose you for a reason to reach it. I have led a prodigal to a father's arms, a thief to a king's side, a world to a savior's heart. Your now is mine. Your next is mine. Your forever is mine. So take my hand, my child. I chose you for a reason. Your every breath is chosen. Your every step is shaped. Your every moment is mine. I am your God, your maker, your might. Become with me. I chose you, now and ever. My treasured child, I am the one who spun the galaxies into their endless swirl, who carved the valleys with my finger, who breathed my life into you and called you beloved, and I come to you now with the truth that flows from the depths of my heart. I chose you for a reason, and that reason is not a fleeting spark, but a steady flame, a purpose that holds you through the tempests, a promise that carries you when the ground shakes beneath your feet. I see you right where you stand.
In the weariness of your waiting, in the heat of your striving, in the hush of your wondering, and I say to you, I chose you to endure, to rise, to trust. Not because the road is always smooth, not because the days are always bright, but because I am with you, sustaining you, shaping you for a reason that outlasts the storm. I am the God who led a man through a flood with an ark of wood, who guided a woman through a wilderness with a child of promise,
who walked a son through a night of betrayal with a heart of love. I chose them to stand through the deluge, to press through the sand, to bear through the dark, and I chose you, my precious one, for a reason that thrives in the hard places. So take courage, my child, for I have chosen you. I uphold you, and I will never let you go. I know the days when the burden feels crushing, when the weight stretches long, when the strength seems to seep away. But I chose you for a reason, and that reason comes with my grace. I am the one who sent manna to a hungry people each dawn, who poured water from a rock for a thirsty throng, who gave a prophet strength to outrun a king's chariot. My choosing didn't spare them the desert, the drought, the chase. It sustained them through it. So when your soul hungers, when your throat parches, when your legs tire, look to me. I chose you, and I nourish you. I see the battles you face, the winds that howl, the waves that crash, the foes that loom, and I chose you for a reason that stands firm in the fray. I have stood with a man against a giant's taunt, walked with three through a fire's roar, carried a son through a crowd's scorn. My choosing girded them with boldness, wrapped them in peace, crowned them with life, and it does the same for you. So when the fight rages, when the heat scorches, when the scorn bites, hold on. I chose you, and I shield you. I know the moments when you waver, when the clock ticks slow, when the heart cries, why? But I chose you for a reason, and that reason blooms in my time. I am the one who waited with a man for a son past his years, who waited with a woman for a womb past its hope, who waited with a son for a dawn past the grave. My choosing taught them patience, grew them in trust, brought them to glory, and it does the same for you. So when the delay drags, when the promise lingers, when the dawn hides, wait with me. I chose you, and I perfect you. I see the world's weight, the injustice that grinds, the sorrow that stabs, the chaos that spins. And I chose you for a reason to face it. I am the God who sent a prophet to a city's ruin, who called a servant to a wall's breach, who bore a body to a world's wound. I chose them to speak in the rubble, to build in the break, to heal in the hurt. And I chose you to do the same.
Your voice can pierce, your hands can mend, your presence can soothe. Not because you're untouched,
but because you're mine. I know the days when you feel fragile, fractured, faint. But I chose you for a reason, and I make you whole. I am the one who took a shepherd's limp and made it a testimony, who took a widow's loss and made it a lifeline, who took a disciple's fear and made it a fire. Your cracks are my canvas, your breaks are my bridge, your frailty is my fortress. So when the body bends, when the spirit splits, when the will wobbles, lean into me. I chose you and I heal you. I see the questions that echo. Why this load? Why this length? Why this loss? And I say to you, I chose you for a reason. I am the God who turned a flood into a fresh start, a famine into a feast, a cross into a conquest. My choosing is not a sentence to suffer, but a summons to see, not a trial to break, but a trust to build, not a burden to bear, but a beauty to behold. So when the why wounds, when the when waits, when the what wavers, trust me. I chose you and I time it. I know the weariness that tempts, the exhaustion that pulls, the despair that presses, the shadow that falls. But I chose you for a reason, and I am your rest. I have carried a people through a sea's swell, sustained a man with a raven's wing, upheld a son through a stone's seal. My choosing is your haven, your hope, your hold. So, when your spirit sinks, when your body begs, when your heart heaves, draw close. I chose you, and I renew you. I see the moments you doubt, when the strength seems spent, when the past poisons, when the future fades, and I chose you for a reason beyond them. I am the God who saw a tax collector's chains and loosed a witness, who saw a woman's tears and loosed a tale, who saw a doubter's dark and loosed a dawn. My love sees your struggle. My choice claims your courage. My will holds your way. So when the lies lash, when the guilt grips, when the haze hangs, rise up. I chose you, and I redeem you. I know the loneliness that bites, the quiet that blinds, the longing that burns, and I chose you for a reason within it. I am the one who sat with a man by a flood, who met a woman by a tomb, who broke bread with the broken. My choosing is your solace, your strength, your song. So when you feel apart, when the silence screams, when the dark deepens, know this: I chose you. I am here. I see the hands you've raised, the work you've waged, the prayers you've wept, the love you've worn, and I chose you for a reason within them. I am the one who blessed a widow's oil, who heard a thief's groan, who multiplied a boy's bread. Your toil is my treasure. Your plea is my pulse. Your love is my legacy. So when the labor lags, when the answer limps, when the yield yawns, keep going. I chose you, and I work through you. I know the world through your breath, the gladness that glows, the grief that grows, the grace that grips, and I chose you for a reason to show me. I have danced with a man at a river's birth, wept with a woman at a river's end, stood with a people at a river's edge. Your gladness is my gift, your grief is my gain, your grace is my glory. So when the joy dims, when the sorrow swells, when the faith frays, rest in me. I chose you, and I shine in you. I see the steps you've braved, the swift and the slow. I chose you for a reason in every one. I have guided a shepherd through a flood, a mother through a weight, a son through a scourge. Your stride is my story. Your stand is my strength. Your life is my light. So when the day dulls, when the night nears, when the race rolls, keep running. I chose you, and I bear you. I know the finish, the peace ahead, the joy prepared, the home eternal. And I chose you for a reason to reach it. I have led a prodigal to a father's robe, a thief to a king's rest, a world to a savior's reign. Your now is mine, your next is mine, your forever is mine. So take my hand, my child. I chose you for a reason. Your every breath is sustained. Your every step is secured. Your every moment is mine. I am your God, your keeper, your king. Endure with me. I chose you, now and ever, my beloved child. I am the one who flung the stars across the heavens, who sculpted the earth with my voice, who breathed my essence into you and called you my own. And I come to you now with a truth that crowns all I've spoken before. I chose you for a reason, and that reason reaches beyond the dust of this moment, beyond the trials of this age, into the endless expanse of my love and my forever. I see you, right where you stand, in the flicker of your faith, in the ache of your longing, in the pulse of your perseverance, and I say to you, I chose you not just for the here and now, but for the then and always, for a destiny that sings in my presence, for a joy that never fades. I am the God who promised a man a land flowing with abundance, who promised a woman a son beyond her years, who promised a world a savior beyond the grave. I chose them for a future they could only glimpse, and I chose you, my precious one, for a reason that finds its fullness in me. So lift your eyes, my child, for I have chosen you. I have carried you, and I am bringing you home. I know the days when the end feels far, when the journey drags heavy, when the hope strains thin. But I chose you for a reason, and that reason ends in glory. I am the one who led a people to a river's edge with a song of triumph, who led a widow to a harvest with a handful of grain, who led a son to a throne with a crown of scars. My choosing didn't stop at their struggle. It stretched to their singing, and it stretches to yours. So when the road winds long, when the load pulls hard, when the light seems dim, look ahead.
I chose you, and I finish you. I see the battles you fought, the nights that clawed, the doubts that stung, the losses that cut, and I chose you for a reason that triumphs over them all. I have stood with a man through a flood's rage, walked with three through a furnace's glow, carried a son through a tomb's silence. My choosing crowned them with victory, robed them with joy, seated them with me, and it does the same for you. So when the war wears, when the wounds weep, when the grave looms, stand strong. I chose you, and I overcome for you. I know the moments when you wonder, when the purpose blurs, when the promise bends, when the heart asks why. But I chose you for a reason, and that reason rests in my hands. I am the one who turned a man's tent into a nation, a woman's tears into a lineage, a disciple's boat into a church. My choosing didn't falter at their questions. It flourished in their faith, and it flourishes in yours. So when the vision fades, when the weight wavers, when the trust trembles, hold fast. I chose you, and I fulfill you. I see the world's brokenness, the tears that fall, the chains that bind, the dark that spreads, and I chose you for a reason to herald its healing. I am the God who sent a prophet to a city's ashes, who called a servant to a people's cry, who bore a body to a world's sin. I chose them to proclaim, to free, to save, and I chose you to do the same. Your voice can herald, your hands can loose, your life can light, not because you're unbroken, but because you're mine. I know the days when you feel spent, drained, done. But I chose you for a reason, and I renew you. I am the one who filled a prophet's mouth with fire, who filled a widow's heart with hope, who filled a son's tomb with dawn. Your weariness is my workshop, your emptiness is my well, your end is my beginning. So when the tank runs dry, when the spirit sags, when the fight flags, draw deep. I chose you, and I refill you. I see the questions that rise. Why this end? Why this way? Why this weight? And I say to you, I chose you for a reason. I am the God who turned a flood into a covenant, a famine into a family, a cross into a kingdom. My choosing is not a detour to dread, but a destiny to desire. Not a pause to mourn, but a path to marvel. Not a stop to grieve, but a start to glory. So when the why whispers, when the how haunts, when the what wanes, trust me. I chose you, and I complete you. I know the weariness that weighs, the exhaustion that grips, the despair that gnaws, the shadow that grows. But I chose you for a reason, and I am your joy. I have carried a people to a land's embrace, sustained a man to a mountain's peak, upheld a sun to a morning's rise. My choosing is your gladness, your gain, your goal. So when your soul sinks, when your body breaks, when your hope bends, lift up. I chose you,
and I delight you. I see the moments you doubt, when the mirror dims, when the past prowls, when the future fogs. And I chose you for a reason beyond them. I am the God who saw a tax collector's toll and gave him a tale, who saw a woman's fall and gave her a flight, who saw a doubter's dusk and gave him a day. My love sees your now. My choice claims your next. My will holds your all. So when the lies linger, when the shame shackles, when the mist muddles, rise free. I chose you, and I redeem you. I know the loneliness that stings, the quiet that smothers, the longing that leaps. And I chose you for a reason within it. I am the one who sat with a man by a dawn, who met a woman by a stone, who broke bread with the bereft. My choosing is your nearness, your peace, your place. So when you feel afar, when the silence swells, when the dark descends, know this: I chose you. I am yours. I see the hands you've raised, the work you've woven, the prayers you've poured, the love you've laid, and I chose you for a reason within them. I am the one who blessed a widow's gift, who heard a thief's gasp, who multiplied a boy's trust. Your toil is my tapestry. Your cry is my crown. Your love is my legacy. So when the effort ebbs, when the answer evades, when the harvest hesitates, keep giving. I chose you, and I reap through you. I know the world through your soul, the beauty that blooms, the pain that pierces, the hope that hums, and I chose you for a reason to reflect me. I have danced with a man at a world's birth, wept with a woman at a world's break, stood with a people at a world's bend. Your beauty is my banner, your pain is my balm, your hope is my hymn. So when the glory glows, when the hurt heals, when the faith flares, rest in me. I chose you, and I shine through you. I see the steps you've dared, the bold and the broken. I chose you for a reason in every one. I have guided a shepherd to a throne, a mother to a manger, a son to a sky. Your stride is my strength. Your stagger is my story. Your life is my love. So when the day dawns, when the night nests, when the race runs, keep going. I chose you, and I lead you. I know the finish, the joy ahead, the peace prepared, the home eternal. And I chose you for a reason to reach it. I have led a prodigal to a father's feast, a thief to a king's gate, a world to a savior's side. Your now is mine, your next is mine, your forever is mine. And oh, what a forever it will be, my child. A place where every tear dries, every wound fades, every question bows to wonder. I see you there, whole, radiant, mine surrounded by the ones I've chosen, singing with the ones I've called, resting in the one who chose you. I chose you for a reason, not just to walk this earth, but to run to me. not just to bear this age, but to bask in eternity, not just to know my love, but to live it forever. So take my hand, my child. I chose you for a reason. Your every breath is destined. Your every step is drawn. Your every moment is mine. I am your God, your Father, your forever. Come home with me, I chose you, now and ever.